Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This is Linda, and in this video I'm going to be doing a flip through of February in my Hobonichi Cousin for 2023 and sharing a little bit about what's working for me and what's not working for me and what my plans are going forward with this planner. So as you can see, I still have my planner in this cover. This is all branded from Hobonichi. I do really like this cover, and I have the cover on it. And I was thinking I might want to put some like pictures or something inside there, but I haven't done it yet. I did have this inside, tucked inside there. And so when you opened it, it kind of just like opened like that. But I saw a lot of people actually don't tuck the front cover in. And I really love the way that looks because then I have the ability to actually see my front cover. So I put a couple stickers on here. This one was from the Paper Person shop, and this one is from a Life Love Papers Patreon. I don't belong to her Patreon, but I picked up like a sampler pack recently. So I had a lot of fun just kind of finding places for some of those little bits of ephemera. There are pockets here. I do have these in here, which I use for my weekly meal plans, but I don't have anything else. When I see other people's flip throughs, I see that they have so much fun stuff in here, but I don't know. I'm not really sure what to put inside all these tiny little pockets. So let me know in the comments what you keep in your pockets and what you think I should add into here. Okay, so I'm gonna just flip in, and starting at the very beginning, I'm going to start right here with my trackers. So I'm still going strong with my trackers. I'm kind of not doing great with my deep cleaning because February and January were kind of crazy months. In March, I'm trying to slow down and kind of get back on track. And I'm starting, it is now March 5th. So I'm just starting to feel a little bit more grounded, which is great. You can see I missed a whole chunk of time right here in the middle of February, and that's because I went on vacation. And you're gonna see that through the entire planner that I missed a bunch of time in February when I was on vacation, which is perfectly fine. I don't need to use my planner every single day. Part of me really wants that complete record, but sometimes you just need a break, and I just needed a break. So you can see I just took a break, and that doesn't mean I didn't do any of these habits. I did. In fact, like I read pretty much every day on vacation, but I didn't document it because I was just out of this planner. I did keep my daily journal. I have my daily journal from Hemlock and Oak, and I did maintain this in February. And let me just see it, so this is in January, and I have another video flip through of this for January. I did maintain this a lot in February, but I'm not sure. So here's some pages in February that I did finish and I have redacted in them. I have a lot in February that I didn't finish, or I didn't fully redact the pages. So I'm not sure I'm going to share this a flip through for February, but in March, I am starting to kind of go through and, I'm adding stuff. I'm still keeping up with it, but I'm actually starting to kind of reconsider this journal. And part of that is I've been kind of questioning my style lately, I guess, when it comes to journaling and how much time I'm spending on these projects versus my scrapbooking projects. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have always maintained a paper planner for decades, but I've been more of a scrapbooker, and my planner hasn't really been front and center on what I share online. It's been more functional and something I use when it needed to get all of my other tasks together. Starting maybe the last couple of years, I've had an on and off relationship. I did go through a bullet journaling phase in 2017, 2018. So I have done more of the planner, but I haven't really done in depth as much as I am this year, where I'm keeping up with the Hobonichi Cousin and with my daily journal. And it's just a lot. It takes a lot of time, and I feel like it's adding stress to my life when it's really supposed to be removing stress. And the whole act of journaling and planning itself does help me, and it does remove stress from my life. But that feeling like I have to keep up with it, or I have to spend time doing it, and I spend hours every day working on it, is just too much. So I'm kind of thinking about how I'm going to reframe both of these projects in March and going forward. So here's my monthly. And for my monthly, you can see I was starting to try to fill it in and decorate it, and I really like the way that looks, but it's too much. For me, the monthly needs to be functional, future planning, and tracking of tasks. So what I think I'm gonna do going forward is keep my monthlies very, very simple, use them for future planning, use them to commemorate large events and large things that are going forward, but not really backfill. And I think that that is what's gonna work really well for me for the monthlies. Then moving into my weeklies. So I started out pretty strong this week. I was stamping, I was decorating, I was having a lot of fun with this. I like the format that I've come up with where I break out the weekly, and across the bottom I put my dinner, I put my goals for cleaning in each day, and then I check them off when I do them. You can see I didn't really get to a lot of cleaning this week. I check off like my general goals for the week, and I check those off. I make some focuses down here. I put the weather across the top. I put my working location on this first row here, and these things are all working really well for me. I like filling in my schedule and stuff, but what I'm doing differently here than what I plan to do here, and I was kind of mixing them a little at this time, but now I kind of have more of a clearer picture of what I want to do. This is going to be future planning. Going forward, you know, I make a doctor's appointment, I'm going to stick it on here so I don't miss it. This is going to be more documenting. So what I think I'm going to start doing is using this to document what I did every day. So you can see I kind of did that here. I have a little bit of stamping and stuff that doesn't really tell you a ton of what's going on, but I'm going to start filling this in with a little bit more facts. And I think that that will help me because I was struggling here to know kind of what to put in each day. And then you see I got into this week where I went on vacation and I just totally fell off, which is totally fine. But that's because I was putting stuff in here. And to me, I was documenting everything I did all day in here. And you can see that I did this during January where I'm just documenting all day. And then I don't have time to document this here and here. And one of my goals with keeping this daily journal was to have a record, a contemporaneous record of what I did on any particular day, so that when I'm ready to do my Project Life album, which sometimes I do weeks or months later, I can flip back into here and say, okay, what did I do on Sunday, January 15th? And I can read this and know. When it comes to Project Life though, I don't need all of this detailed stuff. I just need little points. So what I'm going to start doing is putting points in here and use this weekly, which could take, 5 minutes to fill in a day on here. Whereas this took up to like an hour per day that I just don't have that amount of time to devote to journaling every day. And if I do, then I don't have time to do this too, or any other crafting. So I'm going to start using my weeklies in here to include what I do on any particular day and use that as my jumping off place for Project Life. That said, this journal, I'm going to start reassessing kind of what I want to do. I want to be craftier in here. I don't know which ones I have redacted up, but I started getting a little bit craftier. I started doing some collage, started thinking about adding some pictures, and I'm just going to play in here and use this more for play. And if I miss days, that's okay. This is not going to be my, I have to do this every day. This is going to be my, I have to do this every day, or I want to do this every day to ground myself, to stay on track, to feel like I have everything recorded that I need recorded. And this is going to be extra when I have the time, when I feel like it. And I'm hoping that that balance shift is going to help me feel more connected to my crafting and more on top of my crafting and life in general. So this week I was on vacation and I just randomly decided to adhere some stuff in here. I was feeling really inspired by the collage craftiness that I've seen online. I think I was really looking at Claire from online, and I really loved her crafty style in her Hobonichi, which is very much not my style, but I liked it. I wanted to play around with it. and it was fun, but that's not how I want my Hobonichi to look. I love it when I see hers, but I did it here and that's just not for me. I also adhere something here, not for me. So here I did this day where I actually wrote out, and this is kind of what I'm thinking I want to do. I'm writing in, you know, I didn't have work this day. I see what the weather is. It was President's Day. I slept in, I did Pilates, cleaned the bathroom, had breakfast planned. It was laundry day. I went and got coffees and grocery. I worked on all of these craft things. So this is more like an after the fact what I did, and then I can see what I made for dinner. I can see the chores I did, and I have all of this here for when I go to do my project life. I can also see when I worked, but I didn't fill in any more details here because I was also doing this, and that was just too much. I can see there's a few little things in here that will help me, but this is still a point in time where, see, I have some stuff written in here, but there's also a lot more detail in here, and I'm gonna have to go back and forth for these few weeks of project life. I totally fell off on my weather here because like I said, I was struggling to keep up with everything. And you'll see that especially when I get to the daily pages. Now we're on the current week. And you can see, I feel like I always kind of start out strong on Mondays and then fall off because my week gets busier and like every Monday's like a fresh page. Again, just trying to find my style a little bit. Moving into Sunday, I'm starting to kind of write out what I did each day and have that as a document for project life. This is how I use these. I write out my weekly meals and I like can move it on here because it gives me, and like I know what I have to cook, and then I will write down here what I actually end up having. Okay, then moving into the daily pages. So for February, for my plans here, so if you go to January goals, I did something like very detailed. I was like more decorative. For February, I just went really quick. It's kind of messy. And I was just like, this is kind of what I want to work on this month. And I did this kind of mid-month. I think it was right when I got back from vacation because I was like, where do I need to start? I had so much going on. See, it was like triage catch up. I had so much to do to catch up on. I just felt really behind. Moving into my daily pages, I saw someone use this style and I really liked it. And my goal was still like, I'm still kind of struggling with how I wanted to do things. I'm kind of giving myself a little pep talk here and kind of talk about what my goals are for this planner. Then moving into Thursday, at this point in time, I was doing my task list right here on the left-hand side. And then I was using this side to kind of whatever I needed extra pages for. So I started my media journal, which here's my media journal. And I have still a lot to fill in, but I started this media journal where I'm just kind of putting in all of the media I consumed this year. And you see, I started this in February, so I'm like backfilling from January. And I'm stamping out, putting pictures in of all of the media I consume and kind of rating it and reflecting on it. And I'm going to add quotes and everything. But this was me kind of sketching out and trying to figure out what those pages were going to look like. Then it moves into the 3rd. I didn't use my planner at all on the 3rd. You can see I didn't do a daily plan. I didn't set it up. So what I did was I used this as a blank page to write out what I want to include in my media journal and like kind of the shows and things that I needed to backfill at this point in time. This is why I think the Hobonichi Cousin is difficult for me. This like strict 1 page per day. Some days I don't need a page. Some days I need multiple pages. And that's one of the reasons I'm really strongly leaning towards doing the Common Planner in 2024 from Sterling Ink. I honestly would pick one up right now and use it for 2023, but they have been sold out, so that's not really an option. But I think that will alleviate a lot of my stress because when I don't have a lot to write, I can just keep it small. When I do have a lot, I can add to it and make it be both a planner and a journal, which a lot of people do, but I won't feel constrained to either fill a page that's too much space or run out of space because I'm stuck to 1 page per day. Okay, so moving into the weekend. On the weekends, I do usually have way more time to plan. And so I'm still breaking down my tasks. in similar columns. And I started adding like another column of tasks just because I had so much I wanted to catch up on. And I was just playing with some new pens and supplies I got. And here, you know, I go back and fill in gaps with like random quotes because I'm just trying to practice my hand lettering, and I like to document the quotes that are like kind of speaking to me at the point in time. Here, moving into Monday, I had switched up using the dot markers to drawing checkboxes. I really like the checkboxes, but they're so imperfect. I'm not sure if I like that style more. And I was trying to go with like the colors. So I had just gotten these pens that were like the colors of the rainbow. And I did speak about this in a previous video, but I like to stick with the specific colors. I have like a color per day and I go through a rainbow. So like, well, Monday is red, Tuesday is orange, Wednesday is yellow, Thursday is green, Friday is blue, Saturday is purple, and Sunday is pink. And I tend to try to like stick with that color scheme, but I was doing like black and one color. And here I pulled in that other color for my titles because now I had the brush pens in the titles. And then right here, I'm just adding another quote. I'm back to adding washi tape in here. I do really like that look. I don't want this to be like collaged, but I do really like the washi tape in here. So that's one of the few things I do want to add in here. Now I'm getting ready to go on vacation, so I really fell off of here. So I made like a before I left for Dominican Republic kind of things I must do and things I should do. I didn't actually get everything done, but it didn't really matter. Some of these things I did do and I just didn't check them off. And then here I just added a quote from one of my favorite books that I read in 2022, I think, or maybe it was even 2021, but I love this book, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And I just saw this quote pop up online again, and it just like kind of resonated with me again. So I wrote it in here. I clipped these pages together because I did write something down on vacation that I need to keep private. But I have a couple of blank pages. And then here I had a bunch of blank pages. So I just kind of like did a fake page to kind of test out my style and kind of my goals for what I want to work in this planner going into March. And kind of my goal idea is to add my to-do list here and then add just like more journaling and thoughts and all the random details and fill out the pages. I think that's going to be my main goal, is filling these pages. And I'm going to start prioritizing this over this journal. I want to fill these. These are going to be more optional. Whereas in the past I was doing fill these and make these optional. And I just like the cumulative look in here and the fact that I have like monthly, weekly, daily in here. I think that that's more important to me personally than filling this one. So that is where my focus is going to turn in March. I am really inspired by Theory of Lauren right now. And so I think I'm kind of was using her as kind of a jumping off point for how I want to kind of decorate my pages. Then this is reality. I had some blank pages. I had created this list during vacation where I was like things that were stressing me out that I knew I needed to take care of, and I didn't want to think about them while on vacation. So I just made a list of things to do after vacation. I wasn't coming back until the Friday. So I was like, you know what? I can just leave this here and I will, because I know I'm not going to plan on vacation, and I'll just have this as a checklist. I ended up coming back on Friday and I just didn't use anything. I messed up here. I was going to do a sample page. Finally got back into planning on Saturday, the 18th. I was ready to dive back into this planner, and I was very inspired by planned spreads on Instagram. And I will tag in the description box all of the Instagram accounts that I mentioned that are inspiring me and their YouTube channels if they have them as well. So I was very inspired by Planned Spreads layout, and basically what she did was she did this for the title. So I used this stamp set, which I'm still loving and I want to use in here a lot more. But I moved away from that after a few days because it is more time consuming. And I was trying to, you know, make sure that this was doable for me. So I do think I will use that some days, not every day. But how she split the page was this top section had her task list and all of her to-do lists like across here. And then the bottom section was her random notes section. So if you look at like what I was doing was this style where I have my to-do list on this column, and then this was where I was like filling in details. And that was kind of like what I was doing in January too, where I had a to-do list, and then this was like my random notes and like other things I needed to write down. She instead split the page horizontally, and I really liked the way that that looked, and I feel like it made it much more accessible, because the problem I was having back in January was that some of these things, like here, I wrote this on this Wednesday, but then this, I went back and like filled it in later. Same here, where I went back and filled it in later when I needed a page. And that was kind of like, it was very disjointed for me. And this setup allowed me to have that more like separate. I don't know, like in my brain, it just worked way better. I still don't love it because, like I said, I don't want to have to come back and fill these pages in. I want to just be like, okay, this is everything I need on Saturday, my to-do list, my notes, everything, and then draw a line, be done with it, move on to Sunday. If I need a lot of pages for notes, I can use them. If I don't need a lot of pages, then I won't use them. And that's why I think like the Common Planner is going to be so much better for me. But for now, I'm making this work. So here I started filling in more about planning out my media journal. I had planned it out earlier in the month, but I was finally like actually starting it. And so I was picking like the stamp sets and stuff that I was using in that. I also made another list here of additional media things that I need to add, because I do want to like kind of print them out in bulk. Then moving on to Sunday. So when I was doing it like this, I was kind of like also sort of doing the hourly, but I was also putting my daily tasks here, which didn't really work. I was trying it out. I still like the idea of the hourly here, but I think I'm going to kind of use it more when you look at my weeklies. I'm going to use like my to-do list, but I'm also going to include like the hourly when it's relevant. So like I have my work, I have appointments and stuff boxed out, and I will use that in addition to putting my notes about like what actually is happening. Like I will have these things. So it'll be like the hourly, but also like in the breaks, I'll write like, oh, what was I doing? So I like that there, and then I don't need to replicate it here. I will put like appointments and stuff though, because they're like things that have to happen, but they'll just be on my bullet list. Here I was working on the February One Little Word and kind of some thoughts about One Little Word. One Little Word is a project from Allie Edwards that I have participated in for years now. If you're interested in seeing how I'm documenting that this year, I do have a video on my YouTube channel. I will link it up in the corner right now. But I'm kind of thinking like, maybe I need to move away from this project. I love this project. I am always going to continue choosing a word. I love the format that I selected for this year, but I'm thinking the class isn't inspiring me as much anymore. And it's nothing against Allie Edwards. I love her. I love her classes. She is very inspiring to me overall, but I think it's just, I've done this class enough times that I need something different. So I'm thinking that next year I'm not going to do the class. I'm going to choose a word, but I'm not going to do an album specifically for it. And I'm going to do my personal growth and development in other ways. And I think part of the reason why I don't need it anymore, when I first started the One Little Word class was 2015. And at that time, I scrapbooked only to document what was happening in my life. I did not do personal growth or development scrapbooking. I didn't do journaling. I didn't do any of these like personal growth projects that I do so much of now. One Little Word was the first time I did a personal growth project. And I think that I really, really needed that. And it was kind of like a gateway for me to do a lot of personal growth projects. But now I keep a personal scrapbook album. I have my planner. I have my daily journal. I have my media journal where I'm reflecting on the books I'm reading. I have a lot of different outlets for personal development that I don't think I need to do these same prompts over and over again. So I think I'm going to move away from that. I might actually just let it go for this year. I'm not sure yet. But we could talk more about that on that video. And I'm sure I will give you guys an update in the future about what I end up doing with that project. Okay, so then moving on here, I have written out some of my most inspiring Instagram accounts that I'm following right now. I was just kind of reflecting on this, what I was just talking about, my style, and like trying to find my style in here and in my other journal, and just kind of like the balance between the two. Moving into Tuesday, I didn't have anything down here, so it's just blank. I didn't plan at all this day, so I was using it for my 100-day project, which I ended up abandoning this project and doing a new one starting on March 1st. I'm just leaving that. Here, I started planning, clearly didn't check anything off, didn't really do anything. Friday, I was a little bit more productive, but you can see like I'm doing stuff, but I wasn't really using my planner that much. I was writing down my to-do list and then not looking at it again. On Saturday, I ran a bunch of errands. And then moving into Sunday, I moved back into the colors. So the like grays was from Plan Spreads, and that's kind of like how Plan Spreads does it. It's like her album or her planner is like all blacks and grays, which I love that, but I need some color. So I was back to like my one color per day that I really, really love. I think I will always go back to that. I won't stick with it every day, but it is what it is. So then here's pink again. Again, I don't have anything down here, but I still am happy with how that turned out. And then the 27th, I was paying bills and stuff. So I had some like random notes and like financial stuff down here. And then moving into the 28th, again, just some planning up there. There's some blank space. And then ready for March. So this is, you know, this is just a very realistic look at how this planner is coming along. I have some pages that were functional but not full. I have some like filled up pages that I really like. I have some totally blank pages that were complete fails. I'm hoping that moving into March, I'm going to be a little bit more on top of things. You can see I started writing out my goals. I haven't finished them. So I'm going to work on that. But then moving into March, and I will go into this in a future video, I started with like a large to-do list there on the 1st. So I'm hoping that in March, I will be a little bit more consistent in this planner, but so far I'm loving it. I think I am finding my groove. Just a few more things at the end here. I have my long-term trackers, which I have been keeping up with. I was not productive at all in February. The next page I can't show you. It's like financial stuff. And then here's more cleaning tasks. Again, I've been documenting that in here. And then, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you are not already subscribed, please subscribe and show me some support here on my channel. And I will be back sharing how this planner goes in March. And of course, with a lot of other videos in the interim. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.